Hey guys, Aletha here from Inner Star Compass Healing. I want to show you the progress of my foraging out of my own backyard. This is called dead nettle because it doesn't have the stingers like the stinging nettle, but has the same potent nutritions as a stinging nettle. It is rich in vitamin A, C, K, iron, and it is an anti-inflammatory. And also, if you get a cut, you rub it on it, and it would actually clot the blood for you, so that it prevents stops the bleeding. And so that's what I love about this, is that all year round it grows in my little backyard right out here. And I love it because, in particular, right where you see those hoops, that's where my garden is. They grow all around there, but also in the yard. I'm trying to have the entire grass be infested with either the wild onions that I'm finding, or some people say wild garlic, or clovers, or the the henbit, which is another flower that looks just like this, but it has wrinkles all the way around, and it doesn't have the same shape, but it's also edible, but it also grows purple flowers. So it's kind of confusing because they grow right next to each other. And I'm trying to find in here, I pulled out one of the wild garlic. Maybe I didn't do it this time round. Nope, I didn't. I must have put it into the dehydrator. So what I'm doing right now is I rinsed it really well. I see my sink still has some remnants in there. And then you put it in the dehydrator for 2 hours. And so that's where I'm going, and we are going, because the dehydrator is right here. I set it to 165, and then I just set a timer, and it's good to go. So what I'm going to do afterwards, I'll show you in a second. So it's in the dehydrator, and the dehydrator will run. So what is so good is that this is stinging nettle, but I can also combine it with the dead nettle. But I dehydrate it into this bottle for the winter. So as you can see, I used a lot up for the winter. And put it against a background that you can see it better. Yeah, I used up a lot, and I just harvest some fresh. You see the top green ones are fresher than the bottom. But I just harvest some yesterday, and I'm going to harvest as much as I can and fill this up for the winter. And during the summer, I'll just go outside and grab a bunch, and I make my tea. So let's go to the tea station. So I put it in here, and I harvest my tea, and now I'm getting it as a tea. You can make it raw, or you can dry it like I just did, but this is the raw version of it. Actually, beg your pardon, the dry version of it. But you can also put the fresh cut-ins in here to steep for tea. Now let me show you what I do with it to make pesto. So this entire jar is grinded up with cashews, garlic, onions, salt, pepper, and this is my pesto for the next week or two. Awesome. So there's so much you can do with this. So we're going to go outside, and we're going to look at some other stuff. First of all, guys, I want to praise God, because 2 years ago I couldn't go down these stairs, and with the knee recovery and everything coming along so well, both hips, both knees are doing well, I can go down these stairs, but just very slowly. But watch, y'all, I try not to go down those stairs without Artie, though, because they're not safe still for me. So I'm going to turn this around and show you what I am growing in my tires. Yarrow. But this particular plant right here is a wild garlic that grows all over my yard. As you can see, the dead nettle is right next to it because I want it to be there. In this, the mint is going to come back up. And you can start seeing it. some more yarrow. And in this section, you're going to have some lemon balm. And here are some more of the wild garlic. It's not our onions. I call it wild garlic. And I just planted this rhubarb, so we'll see what shows up. But I want to show you, this is just my yard, guys. And here are those wild garlic. They taste and smell like garlic, but people say onions. Right next to it is the nettle. Right next to it are the himbit. So let me show you the difference. You see the difference? Big difference. But I also have some wild strawberries in here. They grow tiny strawberries. And of course, when these come up, the dandelion, the roots are what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the roots, right? So I'm just letting them grow. I'm letting them sprout because I'm about to pick them next week. See, you can see the difference. So this is a henbit. If you look at, it goes in a circle like a ring, whereas the dead nettle are pointed. Let me bring one next to each other. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, they're right next to each other, see? See, there's a henbit right there and a nettle. So that's the difference. But they're both edible. So yes, guys, I'm getting excited because in spring and March is foraging in my own backyard. And then come April, mushrooms starts to show up because it started to rain. I haven't found all the mushrooms that I want to find because you have to go up into the mountains and find some of those. But I'm excited because it is foraging time again, and it is exciting that I can forage. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different, actually 6, because I have not shown you the elderberry that I'm going to harvest this year. So the elderberry is also here, and I also inoculated with some mushrooms. So, and as you can see, the beautiful birds, they're showing up. Look at that cardinal. But yes, guys, I am excited, able to harvest some stuff from my backyard. Remember, drying them out is just as good. Just have to rehydrate them in water or a sauce. And what else is here? I think that's it for March. But for March, it is a lot. That is a lot, right? But you got to do it. It takes some work to preserve. It does take some work to preserve, but when the work is done, you have something now reserved for another 6 months. And so I'm excited. Now, I am purposely leaving some of these out because the bees need to pollinate. And so I'm leaving in my yard just like this because that is why I'm growing all these things in my backyard, so the bees can pollinate and I have their food as well. So don't take it all. Take what you need and leave the rest for God's creatures. This is Aletha Williams from Inner Star Compass saying, go out there in your backyard and forage.